So I'm getting ready to get started out here on my little trail run. I'm not actually at the trailhead right now. I'm near the restroom. But got in late last night, decided to sleep in this morning. Everyone else who was car camping is long gone. The trailhead was actually really peaceful this morning. Not many other people, which was nice since I got in so late, so I was able to really sleep in. But yeah, it's really gotten crowded. Seemed like maybe 9 a.m. Was when the crowd started picking up. I didn't wake up much before that. Kind of took my time getting my coffee ready and getting out of bed. It was a little rainy when I first woke up, and it's sort of drizzly right now. See why they call it the Smokies, but anyways, yeah, excited to get going. The facilities over here are really nice, so that's a big plus. But anyways, we're gonna get started. So I'm out here about 3.3 miles in, and this is a good view of why they call it the Smoky Mountains, so I thought I'd stop and kind of film that. I can't tell on the video, but it's really an eerie kind of beauty. I don't know, reminds me of being in Scotland and walking up on the ancient stone circles in the fog, even though this is just ancient forest. Very cool feeling out here. So, a little over 4 miles in, like 4.3. Decided to go ahead and take my first real break. Watch says 4.3, the sign says 4.4 to Newfound Gap, which is where I started. So, about a little over a quarter of a way through. Feeling good. I think I went slow on the first part. I could have gone maybe a little bit slower. The beginning of the trail was more rocky and more steep. Definitely think could have picked up the pace a little bit more on the more recent sections had I gone slower at first. But overall, it's going well. It's beautiful here. The smoke gives everything kind of a, I don't know, mystical feel. Smoke fog, whatever. Really reminds me of Scotland and Ireland. But well, so that was another big uphill. Thought I would stop and try to pull for a little bit, but I've just discovered that there's some loose screws on my poles, so they they don't stay at the length you set them to. So I just took a pretty good spill. Here's a, you know, the rocks out here, they're super slick when wet. And that guy right there, it's coming down off of it. Slipped, landed on my butt, which doesn't seem to be bleeding, so that's good. I landed on it pretty hard. So that was actually my first thought, like, man, am I gonna be bleeding out of my butt? But I'm not, so that's good. Do have a little bit of blood right there, and on my kneecap. So I'm gonna stop and doctor myself up a little bit, make sure that I'm good to continue on. So stopped and took a look at it. It's not that bad. The bleeding is fairly slow, so I pulled my sock up over it, which I might regret, but I'm gonna go ahead and get to the turnaround point, stop there, clean it up, possibly swap socks. I just want to see, you know, kind of how it feels to run on it right now. And if it's not feeling good, I'll go ahead and turn around. So I did decide to go ahead and stop. This is the picture that popped into my head. I don't want to paint it for you guys, but I will go ahead and do that. So I pictured, you know, like the oozy blood being pulled away from my sock whenever I get to the turnaround spot. So I just kind of found the next open spot and went ahead and doctored that up, and pulled my sock back over it. Basically, I just took some gauze and some medical tape, and then I wrapped an ace bandage around it. I'm gonna see if that stays up. If it doesn't, if I have trouble getting the gauze to stay together or the ace bandage to stay together, I do have a pair of compression socks with me that I brought as backups. So might switch to those because that'll definitely hold it together. But it actually feels fine running on it, and it's not like I'm losing a bunch of blood or anything. So yeah, gonna keep going, get to the turnaround spot. Once I'm there, I'm gonna kind of have a little bit of a snack, and then we'll head back. So, made it just over halfway. I'm at 9.4 right now. I like going a little bit over halfway. I know it's a bad habit, but you know, watches don't keep track exactly, especially in wooded areas. So I like to see, you know, that I ran the full amount on the GPS. It doesn't matter at all, it's so irrelevant, but I go ahead and do it anyways. So kind of walking back a little bit to this open spot that I saw. You know, walking back is kind of a treat in of itself, but there's an open spot back here that is really nice view of the fog. So gonna kind of stand there, eat some crackers. Got some salty peanut butter crackers, not a normal running food, but breaking it up a little bit. You know, I've been eating, or today so far, I've had a stroopwafel and 2 servings of the Cliff Blocks, the caffeinated ones. I like that stuff, but you know, it's nice to have something a little bit different. And probably the way back I'll have a couple more waffles. Not sure that I'll have any more blocks today since they are caffeinated, but we'll see. Did want to kind of talk about some of the things I would have packed differently, some of the things I would have done differently so far. I think, you know, I experimented with running with my Olympus EM5 Mark II micro four thirds camera and the 20mm pancake lens. I do think, you know, some people will tell you there's no value in micro Four Thirds cameras in the age of smartphones. I think they're wrong. You know, you get basically all the features of a full frame camera, but a little bit less dynamic range, which is fine. I mean, there's a lot you can do with real cameras that you can't do with smartphones or even GoPros still. However, you know, today especially, I'm on a little bit of a time crunch. I'd like to be in Rock Island by 5 o'clock Central. I think it's like noon Central right now. I actually haven't looked in a minute. You know, I wasn't gonna stop and use that. So I think, at least this time, I would have left it. The other thing I did wrong is, before I did the Paladero 50K last October, I packed several first aid kits to put in drop bags and that sort of thing. I say several, it was really 3. A blister kit, a more generic first aid kit, and a big one to go in the drop bag that's halfway through, which that one was kind of unnecessary, but still glad I did it. Instead of grabbing my small first aid kit and blister kit that I, you know, put together myself, I've got another one that I bought a few years ago, one of those pre-made ones. I grabbed that instead. I'm regretting that now that I've had to use it. You know, this morning it was kind of a last minute decision, to throw it in the bag before I left the house at all. But this morning I looked at it and I thought, man, like, the other one I put together myself, like, I did find a source online to tell me, like, hey, you know, you need to put these things in it. I don't know, like, now that I've opened it, it's just not that well laid out, not for things that I would use a first aid kit for anyways. You know, it's got lots of like little bandages. It doesn't have, it's got little antiseptic wipes. I would have liked to see, you know, more gauze pads. Like, it's got tons and tons of little bitty band-aids, and you know, little cuts, I'm not gonna bandage. There's really not a reason to. Now if I'm bleeding profusely, that's whenever I want to have something. Or, you know, even like the scrape that I got today, I wouldn't call it bleeding profusely, but it was something worth bandaging. And there were only like there was one gauze wrap and 2 larger gauze pads, and I don't know, that's just not, you know, if something worse happened, I would have had to do something creative with my shirt probably. So I don't know, not impressed. I think I would have, in hindsight, I should have just grabbed my my first aid kit that I put together myself. Let's see. Other than that, I don't really feel like I overpacked. So just the 4/3 camera and the issue with the first aid kit. A couple other things I may have done differently is, you know, I bought some compression socks right before this. That was really more for going to the Washitas. I've never worn them before, so, you know, I wouldn't mind changing socks right now, but I kind of am hesitant to. I don't think I'm going to, because I typically wear Dry Max trail running socks, and I know how they feel on my feet. So, you know, I am hesitant to try something new right now, especially compression socks, because I don't know exactly exactly what those are going to feel like on my legs. So I'm going to stick with the Dry Maxes for now. They are a little bit damp, but you know, I've run on them damp several times, and I don't know that I've ever gotten blisters from them being damp. The times that I have gotten blisters, it's like sweaty feet causing blisters, and usually it's like in between my toes. So I don't want to risk changing the socks and having a problem related to new socks that I've never worn before. But we'll see. If I start having sock problems, I will go ahead and change them. So far, where I dressed my wound, the sock is staying up. So that's after about a mile of running. So that's good. I think maybe I would have worn a long sleeve shirt. Still kind of back and forth on that. The short sleeve's fine, but you know, there were a couple of times I ran through some pretty thick just overgrowth, and I'm not fully aware of the tick situation here. Like I really looked into it in the Ouachitas because I'd heard they were bad. So I ran through that, and I, you know, had all these like seeds from the grass and stuff on my arm. And you know, at first I thought they may have been seed ticks, which I think is a little late in the season for that. And I don't know if there's much of a problem here either. So I don't know. I also didn't treat any of my gear with the permethrin. I kind of wish I would have gone ahead and done that. I was going to do that in the Ouachitas, like the night that I camped out. Did not do that here because I got in so late. Still, I think it's probably not going to be an issue. But anyways, I'm going to take my little break and then get going. Here is the view that I'm looking at right now. It wasn't as foggy whenever I first got here. Kind of stood here and talked, and the view changed. Like I've been saying though, I do really like the fog. A few years ago I got to go to Scotland, Ireland, and the UK, the Lakes District, and they certainly get fog there. I love it. It does kind of give this mystical feel, although it blocks the views from the mountains, so I don't know. Gives and takes, I guess. But there we are. Here's that section I fell on earlier. Thought I'd show it a little bit more. That guy right here, and to be honest, that's just not paying attention to where you're going. Easily preventable, but anyways, all it takes is a momentary lapse of judgment. I mean, this section right here, look at that. That's nice running. So gotta keep your eyes up, head on a swivel, all that good stuff. But yeah, feeling pretty good on the way back so far. Hey guys, Brandon James here with Project Human Powered. If you enjoyed that video, please like, share, and subscribe. And together we can inspire others to live more through active pursuits, both physical and mental. Thanks.